Hey there, before we jump into this episode, I did just put together a free comprehensive 33-page fat loss guide. I really think it's going to benefit a lot of you, especially if you are struggling or you just want to know more information about how to succeed and a bunch of different important things. I promise you there will be at least one thing in that free ebook that's going to help you and change the game on your journey. And it's very simple to grab. All you have to do is just message us on Instagram with the keyword free guide. I'll get that sent right over to you, no strings attached. And once again, I believe it'll help you in so many different ways, and I just want to give back and help support you and get you to the next level. So with that, let's jump right into the episode.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and Most of All Happy podcast. I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And what do we got on the plate for today?
So actually, fun fact, Josh and myself started YouTube close to 11 years ago. I just searched this morning. I was watching our transformation videos and it was pretty cool. You know, Josh has a very inspiring video, myself included. And I got thinking about how many years we've actually been lifting. And I'm not sure the exact date when we started. I wish I had a little plaque of the first workout or something like that. But we do believe it was around 13 years ago when we first stepped foot into the gym. Now, of course, there have been many mistakes. There have been a lot of lessons learned, but there's been a ton of great times and a ton of amazing moments as well. So what we wanted to do is just spend time today talking about 13 life-changing things that we've learned over about 13 years of lifting, and I hope it helps you in some way or another. So the first thing, and this is probably one of the most important things, is just you will never be at an end point. And I think it's so powerful to remember that, because I know a lot of times people think that there's going to be a certain goal that they hit and then everything's going to be made. You start to shred down, your goal is to lose 25 pounds, and then everything is good and you've made it. And it can be that way for some people, but I find most people, if you start to go to the gym with big goals, great ambition, you start to see success, the goalpost will always move and there will be something else that you're going to want to work towards. And I also will say that that's probably one of the best parts about the gym, and that's what's going to also keep you going, is just constantly having different things to strive for, different ambitions. You know, one day you may start to want to lose 25 pounds, you might hit that goal and just really fall in love with deadlifting. And then the next thing you want to do is start to accomplish a new personal record in deadlifting. That's going to be your new milestone. So long story short is just remember that, hey, you're probably not going to get in there, start lifting, be like, all right, this is it, and you've just fully made it. And especially if you are driven, which I know a lot of you are, especially if you're listening to a fit, healthy, and happy podcast, you're going to just want more. You're going to constantly just thrive off of seeing better success and getting to the next level. So that's something I've definitely learned along the way myself.
Absolutely fantastic. And my next one, I guess, an evolution of that is that life will change, and so will your ambitions that come alongside it. So it's very natural to be super dialed into something, to be really fired up about doing a cut, getting shredded, and saying, I actually want to be a little bit heavier. I want to have more muscle. And you're like, I actually liked it when I was leaner, or I want to really just be optimal for my sport. Don't feel bad for your goals and lifestyle changing. That's what keeps it fresh and exciting. And I do think it takes quite a long time to figure out where you truly feel your best. I have been all over the range of 180 pounds to 240 pounds. And after 13 years, I'm pretty confident in where I'm at right now. And I really don't deviate too much from that. I do really small changes, and that's where I feel best. But I have that experience, and I'm really focusing on putting on mature muscle. But I'm so thankful for all the different phases I went through and the different experiences I had. So don't feel bad about these goals shifting. Instead, embrace them.
Yeah, even Colossus Fitness, we created it with mainly just thinking big, strong, jacked. And although that is a great goal for now, a lot of focus has switched over into being healthy, into having better cardio, into, we've done powerlifting meets, physique competitions. We've done a lot of great stuff, and it's been fun to just try a lot out. But yeah, definitely don't feel bad if, your main focus is going to change, because it's all about trying different things out and then figuring out what's going to stick and what's going to work going forward. But number 3 is just the gym makes you a better person in every single area of your life. And I think it's so easy to just think oh, I'm only going to the gym for this random random reason that just doesn't make as much sense. But when you realize so many areas of your life will improve, the way you interact with people, your energy levels, your confidence, it really transfers over into every single area of your life. And I've seen over and over again, as people start to go to the gym, they just become a better person overall. And better will be different for each person, but just the ambition that you have, the confidence, even how you interact with your family could be different, your coworkers, it really is an amazing space that it's hard to describe. But as spending so much time in there. I've seen some people walk in there, just head down, not really feeling the best, and then boom, you leave the gym. It just leaves you feeling absolutely incredible. So many amazing benefits. I've learned that through my thousands of workouts throughout this whole journey, and that's going to be tip number 3.
Next up is that nothing beats consistency. Yes, you've heard this a million times, but for 13 years, by continuing to show up, continuing to navigate all the crazy things that have happened, hernia surgery, having kids, going to school, working a job and starting a business, running a business, doing all these different things. There's always a reason to say, oh, in the future it'll be better. But staying consistent to your fundamentals, eating well, training hard, looking to continually improve yourself and grow. This is where the massive results really take place. Once again, it's very easy to overlook this one, but I can assure you by staying strong, that's how we've gotten to an incredible place. And people will say, how did this happen? Did it happen overnight? Or how are you where you're at? But it's because we keep showing up, you keep doing that work. And by doing that, you build discipline, and that makes it easier to keep that going.
100%. And I've learned that something is better than nothing. And once again, we'll talk about how things change over time. But even myself, back when I started, I feel like I used to just have that all or nothing mindset and just as a bit of a bro, right? I was in high school, I just had a lot of free time. I would sometimes work out twice a day. Just things definitely do change. But I think especially having worked with so many amazing parents and new moms and, different busy business individuals, we've really had to start to not even figure out what's best for us as just growing human beings, but also just different people. And it's one thing that's just showed up over and over again in my life, but as well as a lot of my clients, is just let's figure out what we can do and make that work. Whether it's a week that you're traveling, whether it's a week where, maybe your upper body's just that there's something going on and we got to overload the legs, still doing something will always beat just taking that week off, taking that month off. And, once again, I used to struggle with this concept because I would always try to do everything perfect until I realized that that's not what it's all about. It's just about still doing something, even if it's to a lesser degree. And I know so many people struggle with this, so I really hope this message will stick to you in some way or another.
Don't be all or nothing. And that goes hand in hand with my previous tip. And then my next one is you are capable of a lot more than you think. And this is totally natural. You're going to go in with very low expectations of yourself. You might say the gym's not for me. I'm not a fit person. I have no muscles. I'm so scrawny. I'm so weak. But it's amazing even just looking back at where you've been and where you can become. And even for me, there's starting from the ground zero, I was really skinny when I started. I just skateboarded a lot, so I had strong legs, but I had no upper body. I had no knowledge. I specifically remembering not wanting to train chest because I'm I don't want to have man boobs, even though that's not how it works. And just crazy basic preconceived notions, and even just how insane the thought of one day benching a plate would be, and then 225 or hitting squats and deadlifts. And it's amazing as you start to get better. And looking back, it's just so obvious to where I've become and what I've been able to achieve. And it can be hard to see that for yourself, but I assure you, you can get there. And with time, anything is possible. And these results really will compound, they'll really grow. And once again, you're just capable of so much more than you think. And you're also capable to give more in those workouts, to give more in that nutrition, to continually get better. And I think going back to what I was saying previously, if you have that attitude of always improving and always getting better, you're going to become unstoppable.
Awesome. And yeah, a lot of these are obviously focused on the gym and, just things we've learned from being specifically in the gym, but also want to include some things that we've just learned over the years as well. And this was one thing for me specifically, I used to make a big mistake on here. Number 7 is just supplements are way less important than you think. And I remember specifically, and I've mentioned this a few times, but just, getting super excited to order my monthly stack of supplements and just wasting a lot of money, right? It's just, I wasn't doing things optimally. I just got super excited. I felt when I would order them, it would just spark some new motivation. I just felt like that was what's going to make a change for me. So I've just learned over the years, and even this past Monday episode, you guys hear us talk about the top 3 muscle building supplements, and it was even hard to find those specific answers because there's not that much. Back in the day, if you were to ask me, I'd probably list out BCAAs and L-carnitine, and then you got to have glutamine here. And this was years and years ago, very early on. But I will say that's one thing I've learned after just trying to figure out as well, not what works best for me, but also bringing it back to our clients. Like, how can we give the best possible suggestions here? And, even this past Monday, we mentioned so many of our amazing clients. Like, we've learned a lot about them. And even just for me 10 years ago, when I first was getting into it and just getting consistent, my answers would be so different because I hadn't worked with hundreds and thousands. We've had over 4,000 transformations. Like, now I've realized that my answer then would be completely different because I'm working with real life people here. I'm working with busy individuals. I'm working with, moms, dads, everything is so different. So that's where I think my mindset has shifted a lot over the years, and that's totally okay, which we'll talk about after. But supplements are definitely a lot less important than you think.
Next up, if you find something hard, lean into it. Don't shy away from it. This is where you build resilience, and this is where you start to say, wow, I can do hard things, help me grow. And usually these hard things are the things we need to do. Example, lunges are really hard, squats are really hard. These movements that actually help us grow and push forward. And if we only do the easy things in the gym, you're not going to get very great results. The things that are hard challenge you, and they're usually hard for a reason. Same with compounds. There's copious examples of this. And this extends outside of the gym. It's a lot easier to go to your food ordering app, pay for the food, pay the surplus, pay the tip, sit there for an hour, wait till something comes, pick up something on the way. That's easy, but that's going to likely lead to you wasting a lot of money and making some poor decisions. It's a lot harder to cook and buy the right groceries and learn and really build out a plan, but long term, that's going to lead to better results. So don't be scared of things that are hard. They're good for you and they're going to help you grow.
100%. And number 9, simply put, we all need accountability. We all need support. Something, once again, is a bit more of a vulnerable episode here because I'm talking a lot about the mistakes I've made in the past, as well as, once again, the lessons. And I just used to think that, hey, I just got to do it on my own. Like, I don't need any help. And I know a lot of guys struggle with this. And just in general, it's hard to admit that we're going to get there faster and in a much more efficient, better way with the support of someone, because we want to do it all ourselves and we want to take all the credit. But I've just learned that every single person needs support, whether it's a professional bodybuilder, a professional athlete, a busy mom of 3, whatever the heck the person is. Like, we all need that support. And I just really wanted to stress this because it bothers me how many people are consistently struggling because they won't reach out to that person for that support. And I'm so confident that I'm able to help you get there. And if you are looking to really take things to the next level, get guaranteed results, second link down below, there is a no strings attached form. All you have to do is fill it out on our website. You can learn more about how we can support you, how we can take your fitness journey to the next level, and once again, guarantee your results. So that will be the second link down below. But just remember, you will always do better with accountability, with support, and with a game plan. I've learned the hard way, and I don't want you to have to struggle as well.
Absolutely. Accountability is everything. Whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's a coach, having someone on your side is how you actually make sure you see things stick. It's so easy just to think of something in our head, get excited by it, and have it fall off for a week. But when it's something you're being held accountable to, that's how you see long-term results. And I think even for us, a big blessing from the start too is like posting content, having a community, having eyes on us, and even just staying in great shape, being an example. Like, that's always a great motivator, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And then next, it's like my next big tip is perhaps you've done things really wrong in the past. Don't beat yourself up for it. It's okay. Just look forward and become better. And at the same time too, be willing to admit you were doing things wrong. Maybe you thought it was most appropriate to train abs every day and you did it for months and you stuck by it and you said all your friends were idiots because they weren't doing it. Then you realize, ooh, this wasn't the most optimal. Or maybe you're eating 2 grams of protein per body weight and you're going against what works well in science. And just don't get so entrenched in your ways that you're not willing to change. Science is always evolving. The research on lifting is evolving. And I've really made it a point to like have opinions, but not to be too attached to anything. And if you've made mistakes, that's okay. But it's about evolving, improving your skill set, your knowledge, and moving forward from there.
Yeah, it's better late than never that you find out the right information. I know a lot of times people can be hard on themselves because they're like, oh man, I've been training the wrong way for years. And especially nutrition, a lot of people have been making quite a few mistakes and they would be a lot further along had they not made that. But sometimes it's necessary in order to grow, to do the wrong thing, to realize what isn't right, to be able to figure out what is right. So it's just a part of the process, and we've all made tons of mistakes over the years. Of course, we want to minimize them, and that's the goal of this, is try to help you understand what to do optimally. But next up, something I learned, number 11, is it's not just about looking good and having a six pack, but it's also about being healthy. It's about just feeling your best. It's about having great cardio. And that's something that, once again, as I mentioned, like our first main thing was just like getting as strong as possible. Like being a younger individual starting, I was like trying to get this like team no neck where you like build your traps up to the point where you just, you just had no neck, right? And I'd walk through the door sideways just trying to get my lats so big. And it was fun. Like it was a fun high school phase that we had to go through, especially as I had begun. But over the years of just doing this whole thing, I realized like health is the most important thing. I know it might sound quite obvious, but some people may not realize it when they're just so focused on the overall appearance, which is, once again, an amazing byproduct of putting in that work. Like the appearance will be fantastic when you show up, but overall just striving to be a healthier individual. Like there are a lot of fit people as well that you'll see that actually aren't healthy, and you may not realize it, but me and Josh, going through the bodybuilding space, doing powerlifting meets, doing all this stuff, like we've learned that a lot. Believe me, that there are people out there like that, and I always want to focus on health, not only for myself, but everyone around me as well as my clients, and it is so, so important.
Yeah, keep health and longevity at the forefront of this, and you'll be able to not only see great results, but be continuing to see great results. And this is such a big one. And this is something we both learned from the start too, is just really looking to the long term so you can do this. And that's where the great results come. Like obviously you see great results in a year, but mature muscle, mature strength, obviously really having a great basis of what works and habits and whatnot. That's where you can see crazy progress. And it's been really great to be able to celebrate that after these 13 years. But the next one, and obviously one we're big on, obviously, as we have hundreds of form videos on YouTube, is form is so important because it's going to help you avoid injury. It's going to help you optimally put on the most amount of muscle, and it's going to help you optimize for strength. So don't neglect form. And if you're going to be doing something, do it long-term, do it right. You might even be surprised some of the basics that could be missing from your forms or little things that could be hurting you. If you don't have someone to critique you or you don't have a coach, I always recommend filming yourself and self-reviewing. Sometimes you'll notice like, ooh, why am I doing that? Or I shouldn't do this. So make an investment in your form because it'll pay large dividends.
Absolutely. And last but not least, keep learning, keep reading, keep questioning everything. I truly believe this is how you consistently evolve, is just really not just, like Josh said before, like taking what we've learned and just being like, oh, well, this is the only way, like being open-minded and just like being open to different approaches as well. It's like, that's something that has helped us a lot. Also, once again, going back to being able to help different people, like there's a lot of coaches out there, but there's just a lot of, people who'll be like, this is the only way to do it. And it's like, if there are people out there saying this is the only way, you absolutely have to start to question their beliefs, because, and there's nothing wrong with having your beliefs, but like, that's just a really bad way to think, because the truth is there's so many different ways to get there, right? If you do want to go through keto and that's your way and that's what's going to work, awesome. Like I'm happy for you. Obviously I would just talk to you about the sustainability side of things, but I just think that's one thing I've learned, is just having that open-mindedness to like looking at what someone says about this study and then this person came out with this. And that's what allows us to be able to help so many different people versus just like one specific person. And that's what's also, I think, helped us not only see great results ourselves, but help 4,500-ish people now over the last close to 10 years now. But with that, obviously, keep questioning, keep learning. I guarantee you, like the day that you stop saying, you know what, I've figured everything out, I'm just going to leave it here, is going to be the day that you die, because, as they say, evolve or die. And it's a very important quote to think. So that's all I have for now. Make sure, grab your in the first link, the free fat loss guide. I promise you that'll help you in so many different ways, as well as apply for coaching, second link. And just wanted to say thank you so much for spending time with us today. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.